Hello there. My name is Sora. I'm coach of the Dover Delmise, and you're watching week 6 of the VBL-S season 14. This week we're up against one of the new faces in the league, Weasley, and his team that has an incredibly long name but is shortened to Love Yourself. Coming into the match, I'm like 99% sure that I'm statistically eliminated already. Like, it doesn't, even if I won the last 2 weeks, I'm pretty sure my season is over after next week. So yeah, we're not playing for a lot. We're playing for, I guess, pride more than anything. Just trying to pick up a win or two here to end it off and not go 1-6. So that's the plan. Before we talk about the matchup, though, I have to talk about a couple of team changes I made. So obviously things aren't going so well for the season so far. And I feel kind of silly for not having done this earlier. But what I really should have done is immediately after the draft, I think I should have used all 4 of my free agents and like reworked the team, because I found while making the team changes I'm about to talk about that it's a lot easier to do my draft challenge when I can just pick whatever's available and I don't have to wait for another pick. So I think I made my team a lot better, and I wish I had just made this change immediately after the draft. Live and learn, you know. So what changed? So if you remember my original team, I had Glamora, I had Lapras, I had Stonejourner, right? I don't think we didn't see Stonejourner at all, and we used Lapras a bit, but it wasn't like I think there were a couple weeks where Lapras was okay, but it wasn't like a huge contributor. And Glamora is a Pokemon I thought was going to be better than it was. Unfortunately, I don't think I was using it properly, so it kind of didn't go so well. So it was on the list of Pokemon I dropped. I dropped Glamora, Lapras, Stonejourner, and I added Clefairy, Yanmega, and Golurk. I wanted Clefairy actually like during the draft, and this is why I'm like I feel stupid for not just doing this immediately. It's because while we were going through the draft, once I lost Sinistra, once I got sniped for me, I thought like, oh, I'll just get something like I'd love to get Clefairy for Friend Guard and for redirection, but it was like really hard to maneuver to. So in order to get it, I had to basically completely change the order of my team and start with Clefairy. Which is the biggest reason why we took Yanmega, right? Is like there's not many Pokemon that start with Y. So I'll put it on the screen here. The new order of the team, the way it looks. I preserve the word chain challenge with the team. It's kind of like it's like a completely different order than it was before, and I think the team's a lot better. So we're playing with that new team this week. So we're gonna see how it goes. We're gonna be doing the replay review style of the video again. I kind of enjoyed that, and I enjoyed just like playing the game on my own and not having to put on the camera and all that for it. So we're going to do that this week and next week as well to finish out the season. But let's take a look at the matchup. I don't have a screenshot of the standings because the match was played yesterday. And I'm recording the video. Today's Monday. I'm recording the video after the replays have already been submitted. So the standings have already been updated. And I didn't want to spoil the outcome of the match, so I don't have the standings here. But Weasley comes into the week 4-1, and I come into the week 1-4. So for me, my season is, statistically, I'm like 99% sure, like I said, that it's over. But for Weasley, the push for the playoffs is still on. It's not guaranteed because our division is quite top heavy. There's really it's like a 5-team race basically. And then there's some bottom feeders, myself included. So, a win would be really good for them. And they're definitely hungry for it, I'm sure, because I believe last week was their first loss. So they lost last week as their first loss. They started 4-0. So, and then for me, I got nothing to lose. I'm just here to play for fun. Try to squeeze out a couple wins. So, I'm dangerous, man. You don't know what to expect from me, right? Like I got to do whatever I want. I can take all the risks. I can play fast and loose with my Terras, because if I lose, there's no downside, like other than I just lose. So, The matchup here, this is a very, very well constructed team from Weasley. The type chart is like totally clean. There's like a really good fast option, a couple of really good fast options. Like Dragapult is effectively like Electrode's faster, but Dragapult's a way better Pokemon than Electrode offensively. So it's like it's the fastest like offensive Pokemon around. Kilowattrel is 1 speed point slower than my Talonflame, but it's a very fast Tailwind setter. And then you have like, you know, Tauros and Volcarona are, you know, in the current landscape of Pokemon, maybe a base 100 speed isn't crazy anymore, but in a format without legendaries, and against a team like mine, it's pretty fast. So it outspeeds everybody on my team except for Talonflame. There's a scary fake outer. You have the Tinkaton, which is, you know, it's the best. It's Fairy Sealed, best typing in the game, period. Gigaton Hammer is a nuts move. It does a ton of damage. You have Fake Out, Thunder Wave, Encore, all that kind of stuff. So it's a very scary support Pokemon that can really put out some damage if you don't respect it offensively either. There's a Spore user here in Breloom. Breloom has also got some pretty good damage output as well. So, you know, that's pretty scary. There's Disquake from Rotom and Rhyperior. Rhyperior is a very scary Pokemon in Trick Room, and Trick Room can be set by Slowbro, who speed ties my Slow King. Yeah, so all in all, it's like, it's a very scary team, right? It's obviously a good team because it was 4-0 going into last week. It's 4-1 now. Weasley seems like a phenomenal coach and a great addition to the VBL. Possibly one of the most positive people in the league too. He's been commenting on all my videos, and you know, it's appreciated. So, but that's not gonna make me hold back this week. So yeah, looking at this matchup, like it's a tough speed matchup for me because, like I can Tailwind with Talonflame fairly consistently, but if they have like Sucker Punch or something on Dragapult, they could just break my Gale Wings, and then a Scarfer would outspeed me, for example. So we're gonna see I didn't bring Talonflame this week, and I think that I was kind of 50-50 between Talonflame and Yanmega because they kind of did similar things for what I wanted to do, where they both are fast Tailwinders. Where in Yanmega's case, it's got speed boost, so you kind of have to protect to get the speed boost, and be fast enough. But then you're playing against Fake Out anyway, so having a protect for turn 1 is like pretty common. Like you're gonna do that pretty commonly anyway, so it kind of feels fine to me. So I did choose Yanmega this week, and we'll review the sets in a moment. I brought all of my new Pokemon this week because I only get 2 weeks to play with them, so I figured let's just bring them. Let's use them while I can. There's really no point in making the changes if I'm not going to actually use the Pokemon. So, yeah, we brought all 3 of them. The goal is probably going to be Trick Room. It's kind of been that's been the plan for most of these games. I think I've had the most success with Trick Room, way more successful than trying to go fast. So the primary goal will be to go slow, go Trick Room. Now there are some pretty scary Trick Room options on Weasley's team. The Rhyperior, obviously. Slowbro can do some setup stuff or just be really annoying to get rid of. You know, if you have like Muck can do some stuff, Scrafty can do some stuff. I do have kind of the advantage in that my Arboliva, which I didn't bring, but I had the advantage, like I could have brought Arboliva because it underspeeds Rhyperior by 1 point. But I actually chose not to bring Arboliva. I didn't feel that Kingambit had a good matchup either, so I didn't bring Kingambit. So we'll see in a moment which 6 I brought. But I think I cooked up something pretty good. It's gonna be a tough match, or it was a tough match. Obviously, it's already been played. It was always gonna be a tough match, right? Strong coach, strong team. You gotta cook some stuff up. But let's see what I did. Let's see what I put together, and then we'll take a look at the games. First off, we have Clefairy. This is rocking the friend guard, so we're gonna take 25% less damage sitting next to this thing. Obviously, we're running a Violate. You'd be insane not to. So, and we've invested very heavily into defense, mostly just to, the average attack of Pokemon on Weasley's team is much higher than the average special attack, so this kind of accounts for that. And Clefairy's defense is worse than the special defense, so you kind of need a lot of defense to make it usable. Protect, Helping Hand, Follow Me, Moonblast, nothing too crazy here. And then we're running Tear Grass to follow me on the Spore and block it if it comes from Breloom. Other than that, the idea is keep this thing alive as long as possible to take advantage of the damage reduction from Friend Guard. So that's why Protect is there. Follow Me helps us, you know, if we want to Follow Me Trick Room, we want to Follow Me Set Up. That's a really good option as long as they don't have spread damage or like a way to one-shot this. Helping Hand, always good. This thing's, you know, it's got Moonblast, right? But we're coming off of base 60 special attack with no investment, so it's like not doing a whole lot. It does hit Scrafty pretty darn hard though, because it's a 4x weakness, but yeah, not really looking for Clefairy to put in a lot of work offensively this week. That's for sure. We got Kamo. I just noticed that it's just Kamo. There's no Kamo-O. We got Kamo-O. I think so this is like my most used Pokemon. It's definitely been my... I guess I feel like I kind of have a love-hate relationship with this thing, but I think when I've used it well, that's when I've been successful. And I haven't gotten dunked on by a Mirror Herb for a couple weeks, so I'm feeling adventurous again. So we're gonna run setup again this week. We have Clangor Assault with Throat Spray. Overcoat is a good ability here because it blocks Spore, so I don't have to do like a Terra Grass or something to avoid going to sleep. And then the combination of Clanging Scales and Aura Sphere hits basically everything. There's only one Dragon immunity on the team. Dragon's a really good offensive type, so Tinkaton doesn't take any damage from Dragon type moves, but Aura Sphere is neutral. So I'll be able to hit everything that's not Terra'd for at least neutral damage. And a +2 Clanging Scales is going to do Mondo damage, regardless of whether it's super effective or not. We have enough speed here to outspeed, I believe it's max speed Scrafty by default, and then we don't go higher than that because we're going to be pressing Clanging Soul, so that gives us a +1 boost. So there was really no need to go max speed here. And we have as much special attack as we possibly can to do as much damage as possible. Because when you're playing with Clefairy, right, you only have one damage dealer on the field, so you need that damage dealer to be hitting, or else you're gonna just run out of time and lose. So that's Kamoa's plan. We got Yanmega coming. The speed here is very specific so that it outspeeds everything at +1. And then we gotta just dumped a bunch in the special attack, and we're running the Focus Sash. This is actually Terra Stellar, but I don't have the little type icon for Stellar, so I just kept it Bug for the graphic, but it is Terra Stellar. Not that I would really plan to press it. We have Detect, Air Slash, Tailwind, and Giga Drain. So the idea here is that we can set Tailwind after protecting turn 1 and getting our speed boost. Air Slash is a pretty good move as long as it doesn't miss. And the Giga Drain is here to sneakily pick up the Rhyperior. The Rhyperior will die. I think there are probably some sets that if he's like super insane special defense with Solid Rock and AV where it lives, but a lot of sets this will just kill it. And we'll come back to this in a moment, but Yanmega also plays into one other option that I have. We'll get to that. Next up we have Slowking. It's been a pretty standard set running Oblivious with the Covert Cloak. We're actually running Terra Normal, and that's specifically so that Dragapult can't just like Shadow Ball us and then have... I don't want to like die to a double up, right? So if he leads Dragapult because it's got the super effective move, I can just Terra Normal and be immune to Ghost. Because depending on which 4 I bring, Trick Room is going to be very important to me winning. So I don't feel bad using my Terra in order to get it up. Because I'm not really relying on my Terras for offensive damage output, except for on a couple Pokemon. They're mostly there for defensive utility. I'm totally fine with using it for defense. And then we're actually going to set up a little bit this week. We have Calm Mind. I've found that, Sulking is, since it's so bulky, it sticks around for a long time, usually. Unless, like, a lot of the time it is being heavily focused, but when it's, you can kind of ignore it sometimes. Like, once Trick Room goes up, you're probably trying to kill my Sweeper instead. And if you ignore this thing and I get a Calm Mind or 2 off, it actually does pretty respectable damage. Like, this is not a slouch offensively at +1. Scald Flamethrower, pretty decent combination. Scald is just an incredible move. Can burn things. So even if like the Rhyperior tears into something that resists water, it can still get burnt, which is just a complete kneecapping of the Pokemon. And then Flamethrower kind of just covers for things that we can't hit with our Scald. Next up, we got our last new member of the team. We have Golurk, and this goes alongside the Yen Mega. So it has a little bit of speed investment so that when I press Tailwind, it's faster than... I don't know if it's... To be honest, I don't think it's faster than everything. It hits 162, so it'd be faster than Tinkaton at max speed, and everything below it. It's not going to outspeed like Kilowatt Trill or Dragapult or anything like that. That wasn't really the goal here, because you still want to be slow enough for Trick Room, right? So just a little bit of speed, and then we're rocking the Choice Band with no guard, since I don't want to miss my Poltergeist or my Dynamic Punches. And the idea here is that we have a Stab, Choice Band, Earthquake off of a pretty damn good attack stat. We have 124 base attack. With the Stab Earthquake, we can use it next to Yan Mega, and next to the 6th Pokemon we'll see in a second. Poltergeist is a great move, and I can't miss it now because I have no guard. This Pokemon and I were match made in heaven. I'm very good at missing highly accurate moves, and this thing can't miss them. So, and then for funnies, we're running Dynamic Punch. You know, if you get yourself into a pinch, you can just punch something, make it hit itself. Then Terra Ground, this is like our all-in offensive option. Last but not least, we have Electros. Electros has kind of like sneakily been one of my favorites this season on my team. I didn't... Like when I drafted this, I only drafted it because I kind of had to in order to get to the Slowking I wanted. But actually, I maybe disrespected this Pokemon a little bit more than I should have, because it's been pretty good for me. And this week we're rocking the Life Orb. We got Discharge, so we can sit next to our Golurk and just Disquake. Terra Steel is there. You know, I don't know if I'll press it, but it's there defensively. And then Grass Knot. Grass Knot can pick up Rhyperior if he's not careful. So, I mean, you know, obviously Electric, you can't hit Rhyperior. It could also run Lightning Rod to take the Thunderbolts away from its partner. So having Grass Knot here, even though it's not Stab, the 4x weakness that Rhyperior has to Grass is enough to laser that thing down. So that's the squad. The plan is probably to lean into Trick Room and use Golurk and Electros as the sweepers. But there's also obviously probably at least one game where I'll try to just lead with Kamo, Clefairy, and get set up and sweep from there. So those are the two main modes, and you know we'll always be aiming for those. And with that being said, let's take a look at the replays. All right, game one. So team preview. I see that Rhyperior's not here, which kind of surprised me a little bit, but other than that, it was pretty much what I would have expected. Dragapult came because it's the fastest thing possible in the matchup. Kilowatt Trill's there. Obviously, the Tinkaton came, the Breloom came, so nothing too shocking off the rip here. So my plan is to start game one with what I know has worked for me, and I'm going to lead with the Trick Room option. And actually on lead, though, I see here that I would rather go on the offense immediately, because Flamethrower hits both of these things pretty well, and I'm probably getting faked out. I assume that they're not going to fake out my Slowking because I've run Covert Cloak basically every week. So Kamo probably is going to get faked out here. Yeah, so I just go for some damage. I get faked out on Kamo. I get tricked. So suddenly my Slowking loses its Covert Cloak, and it now has a Choice Scarf. So it is a good thing I didn't click Trick Room here. I did not expect this play at all, but I click Flamethrower and I do a ton of damage to this Rotom. And what's funny is I'm fast now, but still not, like, even with the Scarf, I'm still slower than both, which is kind of funny. But so this turn, I'm pretty sure that we're going to see a Play Rough into the Kamo slot, and then probably like a Thunderbolt or something in the Slowking. So I just protect my Kamo on the Play Rough, and I go for another Flamethrower to try to get rid of the Rotom. They Volt Switch out, and I take about half, which is fine, and they go into the Dragapult, who eats up a Flamethrower pretty well. So in this position now, they have... they can Play Rough into my Kamo again, or they can just kill Slowking. I'm in a little bit of a tricky situation here, but I think the the goal here is to keep Komodo alive, so I'm going to Terra into Fairy so that if Dragon Darts comes out, I don't get owned. And I also wouldn't be weak to Play Rough. Now I am weak to Steel. They substitute with the Dragapult, which is interesting because I live a Gigaton Hammer, and then Clanging Scales is a sound-based move. So it goes through Protect, or it goes through Substitute, and I pick up a crit. I meant to check if the crit mattered. We're going to check it live. If the crit mattered. I probably should do this in a different window. Let me... Yeah, so I'm just going to put that into the calc real quick. Dragapult. I meant to check this, but I'm silly and I didn't. So the Komodo... and they are Terra Fire. I think that since the Clanging Scales didn't... this may be me being stupid, but I think since Clanging Scales doesn't affect Tinkaton, I don't know that it gets reduced as spread damage. I think the crit didn't matter, but I could be wrong on that. But I get the kill, my Throat Spray pops, and I get a Flamethrower off that does a little over half onto this this dude. And he's Weakness Policy Tinkaton. So we didn't see the item on the Dragapult. We see a Weakness Policy Tinkaton, which is pretty cool. Then this thing comes in, it can priority kill my Komodo. I can't really do much about that. I died of Faint. It is what it is. And I get Play Roughed, and I barely hang on and get a Flamethrower off to take out this this Tinkaton. And the crit, we saw it did 51, so the crit didn't matter. So now it's 3-2. My Slowking is effectively dead, and it's stuck on Flamethrower, so I'm not going to do anything to try to protect it here. I'm just going to switch it out on the potential Faint. I guess, you know, Faint and Mach Punch, they both do the same thing. One's normal, one's fighting, so I switch into my Ghost type so that I'm immune. And I assume, like, yeah, I'm probably going to take maybe I'll take like a Blizzard or something. At this point, I've seen Trick and Volt Switch. My Electros gets burned, but that doesn't matter because I'm special, and then the Thunderbolt just barely doesn't pick up the knockout on the Rotom. But in this position, I'm fairly confident that Electros is safe and it's not going to die to anything. And I want to just get off some big damage, and I don't want my Golurk to eat a grass move and die. So I switch in Slowking as a sacrifice. The Blizzard misses both, which is a little bit unfortunate, but that's kind of like, you know, you're rolling the dice when you're running Blizzard like that without snow. So, and the Bullet Seed comes out, takes out my Slowking. And I'm able to just press Discharge, do a bunch of damage. And I get the Para, which is nice too. From this position, it's 2v2. I don't have Terror anymore, but I'm able to just Poltergeist and kill them. And I see here that they have Room Service. So that's good information to get in game one. So they have Room Service. I need to be careful of that with the Trick Room. So yeah, a good game one win. A little bit of RNG here and there. Like I said, I'm not sure that the crit on the Dragapult mattered. Obviously the crit on the Tinkaton didn't matter. And the Blizzard miss is unfortunate, but that's kind of how it goes sometimes, right? So in game two, I figured, okay, he's going to switch some stuff up. I should probably try to switch some stuff up. So I'm going to go Clefairy Komodo this time, and I'm just going to try to wing it. I'm just going to say, let's go. Let's do the thing. Let's get the boosts. So I Terra Fairy off the rip so that I don't get owned by Play Rough, and I protect the Clefairy, and I get faked out on the Komodo. And they try to trick the Scarf onto my Clefairy. So kind of a nothing turn, really. I took 5%, I guess. And I used up my Terra, but I can just switch in the Yanmega now, because I don't want my Clefairy to get tricked to Choice Scarf and be stuck on Protect. I don't mind if my Yanmega loses its Sash, because it's kind of, you know, it is what it is, right? So this is going to give us a pretty funny interaction soon. I protect my Komodo on the switch so that I can next turn Tailwind. So I'll switch in, get the speed boost. Next turn I'll Tailwind. I get Gigaton Hammer, it does a bunch of damage. I forget, you don't get the speed boost when you switch in, but I'm scarfed now. I figured he'd be tricking anyway, so I'm effectively speed boosted because I'm scarfed. So here I can just Tailwind and go for my setup. So that's what I do. I Tailwind, and I go for Claying Soul. Like, so I get my +1, I get my Throat Spray off, I take a little damage. But now my special defense is quite good. And the Blizzard misses my Komodo, which is lucky for me. But from this position, yeah, like I said, I mean, it's running Blizzard, it's scary, right? Because for every one you hit, you can miss. He's been missing a lot, so that's pretty unlucky for him. But I am +1 special defense. I probably would have taken it pretty well. So now I'm going to Helping Hand. This is a very funny, you'll never really see this happen before, but I'm going to Helping Hand, and I'm going to Claying Scales. And neither Pokemon is going to die, but they are going to take 100% because they both have a Focus Sash. The Volcarona had a Focus Sash, and the Rotom stole mine. So there's a double Sash proc here. So neither of them die, and he gets off the Blizzard and the Heat Wave. And RNG swings back. You know, the scales of RNG are balancing one way or the other. The freeze comes in, so I am tantalizingly close to being able to just sweep with my Komodo, and now he can't attack anymore. He's frozen. He takes my Eviolite, and now I have no item, and I try to Moonblast into the Protect, doesn't work. Switch in Tickaton, I'm frozen again. Blizzard comes out, misses me. Okay, yeah, we're still doing stuff. My Tailwind ends, you come in, get faked out, so I'm still frozen. Blizzard comes in, kills my Komodo, and that's game. Poltergeist did a ton of damage there, but yeah, that's game. So I think at this point it's like, you know, I'd say we probably evened out a bit. I don't know. I'm obviously biased towards myself, so maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like we're going into game 3 with a pretty clean slate. We both won a game with some lucky happenings. But yeah, so game 3, we got a game 3, a 3-game set. It's a pretty good one. Let's see how it starts off. The Dragapult, the Tinkaton, and I'm going Trick Room mode. I led this game with my Covert Cloaking Slowking and my Ghost type so that I can't get faked out because I'm tired of getting faked out every game. So I'm like, I'm not getting faked out this game. The Dragapult is kind of scary, but from here, the way I look at it right now is, like in the moment while playing this game, is I need Trick Room. I need Trick Room this game. I did not bring Komodo in the back. I need Trick Room. So I have to make sure I get it off. So I'm going to Terra my Slowking, Terra Normal. This way, we haven't seen the full set yet on Dragapult. We didn't see it in game 2. We only saw Substitute game 1. So we don't know anything about this thing right now, right? So I'm just playing for the idea that it's going to try to like Shadow Ball me. And so I'm going to Terra Normal, make sure I don't die to that, into a double up from that. I eat a Terra Blast and a Gigaton Hammer, and I live on 3. I don't know how that roll looked, but, you know, I barely hang on. The double goes in the Golurk. High Horsepower deletes this thing, and I get my Trick Room up, and I'm in a very good spot. This thing seems like it doesn't have a Ghost type move, because otherwise I assume it would have pressed in the Golurk, because even if I Terra'd ground, Terra Blast still isn't like I feel like Terra Blast still isn't the best move. So that's interesting. And then we know we have a Scarfed Rotom in Trick Room, so it's going to be kind of tough for him. So he reveals Protect here, and I get a Calm Mind up because I kind of see this position as like I'm Terra'd out of my Electric weakness. This thing probably doesn't have much. Like, it had Substitute and Terra Blast. Like, it's kind of an interesting weird set. It's not super scary to me. We're in Trick Room, like it's going last. I'm just going to start setting up. And I'm going to just go for damage with Golurk. I'm Choice Banded in to High Horsepower, so I'm gonna High Horsepower into the Protect here, and this is where Mirror Herb gets revealed. Thankfully, I managed to avoid this with my Komodo play in game 2. I guess it didn't matter because I lost game 2, but we're gonna lose our Golurk to Blizzard, and our Slowking gets set up, and so we're in a pretty good spot here, right? 3 turns left to Trick Room. I have the setup on my Slowking here. I did set up their Dragapult, but it's okay. They're gonna take a ton of damage to Scald. And the double up with Thunderbolt gets them. I'm kind of at this point, I'm not afraid at all of the Rotom. It's scarfed into Blizzard, so as long as I get it trapped on the field, he basically has to start hitting every Blizzard or maybe get a freeze to have a chance. And so I can just target down its ally. So the Blizzard misses on Electros and does barely anything to Slowking. And from this position, I knew like I probably won. There's two very fast Pokemon on the field. I got 2 turns to Trick Room. He does protect the Kilowatt Drill, but I target down. I know that the Rotom can't protect itself, and I don't know anything about the Kilowatt Drill, so I said, all right. I mean, Kilowatt Drill's not really doing anything to Electros. It's not really doing anything to Slowking. That's Terra normal. So I'd rather just get rid of the Rotom, avoid the potential of being frozen again. So I double it up. It lives on 1, no Focus Ash, but yeah, we're able to finish the game off with the Grass Knot from Electros. So I did it. I won another game. We go to 2 and 4. We knock Weasley down to 4 and 2. Pretty good. I think it was a pretty good set. There's a lot of RNG. So let me know in the comments who you think got more. It might be me. I think it was probably me. I got quite lucky. But you know what? Maybe I earned it. You know, I'll cope with that. I deserved it. But yeah, so that's, you know, we got 1 week left. Maybe we can close it up with another win and have a respectable record. But you know, I'm good even getting that one. So I'm pretty happy. Good games to Weasley. I think at this point I can safely say they've locked in the playoffs. I think because of the other results in the division for this week. So, you know, this didn't actually mean anything in the end to them. So it's just it's a cool set, I guess. Next week we have our last match of the season. So we'll probably be cooking up some. I'll try to cook up some heat. There's a couple things I've wanted to do this season that I haven't been able to do yet. So maybe we'll see those next week. With the transactions I made, there's a couple things I can do that I couldn't have done as easily before. So be on the lookout for some stuff next week. But yeah, until then, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time. Have a good one. Bye bye.